What's up, everybody? This is BakaBites. I'm Frankfurter. That is Magically Average. And today we are here to do our summer 2025 anime review. Now, we've got a lot of shows to get through, so we're going to hop pretty much straight into it. But before we do that, we are going to go briefly over our rubric and what each kind of scoring means. 1 through 4 are pretty fundamentally just bad. They're just different degrees of bad. We're not going to go over that. 5 is just completely average. There's nothing inherently bad, but still nothing very good about it. 6 is fine, whether it's personal preference or peer pressure. The show is just a step above mediocre. 7 is good. There are multiple qualities that help him give a positive viewing experience. Um, but it doesn't help, do anything new for the genre or impress in a specific way. 8 is great, consistently delivers quality episodes each week that progress the story, build the characters and or world, it on and or the world, or delivers on its presentations. 9 is excellent, stands out above the majority of other shows in its own genre, and in some way improves upon the overall medium. Has minimal objective flaws, but nothing that would be detrimental to watchability of the show. And then 10 is perfect, other than a few personal nitpicks. The show is flawless. Standing atop the library of anime, this show is the pinnacle of its medium and should be viewed as the new gold standard at the time for anime. So, without further ado, that is kind of the rubric we are working with. Um, and yeah, we're gonna get into our kind of just shows we dropped, shows we're gonna get back to, and things we put on hold. Uh, let's start with dropped. For me, it was cultural exchange with a game center girl because once we found out the age difference between the two, it was like, oh no,
Yeah,
I don't care anything about that. If there's any sort of
yeah,
hint at romance there, not happening.
yeah.
Uh, I dropped Bad Girl. I don't know if you had watched all of that with your wife.
I watched it all.
Cool. Okay, we can get into it, but that's just something that I dropped. I just completely forgot that it existed, so it was just kind of that thing.
Yeah.
Solo camping for 2, we talked about this during our first episode reviews. It just wasn't my thing. Detectives these days are crazy. Again, it was fine, but it wasn't, anything amazing. It wasn't going to be something I was going to get into. Night of the Living Cat, we talked at length about that one and why we were both dropping that one. And then Hotel Inhumans. That one I thought was going to be more John Wick esque, and it just was more. No, I should have realized it was more about the hotel and just different people coming in and out and not focusing on one specific person.
Mhm.
So I dropped that as well.
Yeah.
What all did you drop this
So
season?
I also dropped Night of the Living Cat. I gave the first episode a 4 out of 10. I thought it was awful. Uh, I let you take the fall on this one, but Watari Kun's asterisk is about to collapse. I was
I will be
like,
talking about that.
yeah, I was like, hell no, I'm good. Another one that I know you watched, Turkey Time to Strike. I gave it a 5 first episode because I was like, no, I'm okay.
That
Um,
that isn't on hold for me, so I don't have to talk about it later.
oh,
But
okay.
yeah, I watched like the first 2 episodes. I am curious about the show. I do want to go back to it. I just
God, nothing wanted me to
yeah.
stay. Nothing kept me
Oh, I thought it
to
was
stick
just
around.
freaking
No,
hilarious. It was that weird premise of just like a weird isekai that I'm like, yeah, cool, I'm in.
no, I just
But it never got an English dub, and that was probably how
and
I
it
would have
never
gotten through that.
will. It never
I
will.
know, but it's on hold for me.
Dealing with the Mikadona sisters is a breeze. I watched through I think like 4 or 5 episodes of that. I eventually dropped it. It was like it. I don't know. There wasn't anything too memorable about it, and I felt like the characters were extremely frustrating. Just to the point where like even like the little backstories they gave each character through the first 5 or like half the season had their own dedicated episode, and I was like, wow, I'm even just not at all interested in this. So I was like, I'm okay. Also dropped solo camping for 2.
Yep.
I thought I was gonna continue this one. I could not. Togananki, that shit was Gooner Haven. And it's so egregious. If you don't know or haven't been on TikTok lately, which we haven't been, we just posted for the first time in like 3 weeks. Um,
Thank you for that.
but the director, I made a comment about this before, but the director for this anime was like, how big are they? 10 times bigger.
Yeah. I watched the whole thing so we can get into it later.
It's just so I was
It's
like,
still
"No."
going, by the way. It's a 2
I
core.
no, I know it is. I'm like, "You could not pay me to go back to that." Solo camping for 2 as well. It was fun enough, but it couldn't keep my attention for a full season, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And then one that I'm, like, on the fence about, but I feel like it's gonna roll into that same, like, grading as solo camping for 2 is See You Tomorrow at the Food Court. I think the
Oh, I
repetitive
forgot all
nature.
about that.
Yeah, I just the first episode was already really repetitive of, like, they're at the food court, they talk about a specific topic, and then they, like, snap forward to, like, a brief moment at school, and then it's, "All right, back at the food court, another topic related to some conversation that happened at school," and then something happens at home, back to the food court. Like, it was just kinda that for the first episode, and I'm like,
Yeah,
I get
I get it.
it's the title is "See You Tomorrow at the Food Court." I know it's a slice of life, I understand that, but it's just not enough to keep my attention. Like, it
That's
doesn't
fair.
have a good enough shtick to get me to stay around.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, and especially with the fact that I think I have 16 shows that I finished, and you said you had 11 or 12. Like
11, yeah.
yeah, it really has to stand out in order to really have it
And
go through. But
this was a very top-heavy season for me in terms of, like, anime that I scored highly. So, like, I'm
yeah, I would kind of agree
I
there.
mentioned it last time where I'm more selective than you. You tread through the dog shit willingly, and I avoid it at all costs. So, like, most of mine are always, like, 6.5 to be the lowest if I finish it and above. I feel like sometimes you finish a series and you're like 5.5. I'm like, "You could not get me," like, "No, I don't have the time. I'm not gonna willingly watch a mediocre show."
Yeah. I did that, and we'll
Yeah,
talk about it soon.
I
Other
know.
shows, if that's all you've dropped, I've got a few that I'm like I already said Turkey's on hold. I'm also putting on hold Necronomicon and the Cosmic Horror Show, despite the fact of the whole not allegations, getting caught using
Ch
ChatGTP for translating into other languages.
every
Like I got through 5 episodes of this show, and I thoroughly, like, enjoyed it more than I ever thought I would.
Yeah,
It really pisses me off that I actually enjoyed it, but I just
that Chat GTI is really, really good at doing its job.
oh boy,
Or
did I
Chat
say it wrong
GPA.
again?
Chat
Did
G
I?
Yeah,
God
GPT.
damn it, every
GBT.
time. I cannot
I don't
say
even
that.
remember it now because you say it wrong every time. I used
GPT, GTP,
to
GPT, GT Chat GTP.
No, Chat GPT.
God damn it.
I feel like it's like different letters every time and it kills me. It's Chat
GP
GBT, Chat GTB.
No, I know it's T and a P and a
No,
G. I just the
sometimes you
order
say B,
is
sometimes you're
it's
like
I know
Chat
the G is in
GBT.
there, I just don't know where the P and T go.
At this point, you should just be confident to know that it's the first letter in the like is G, and then just go Chat Gib, Chat Gib, and
Sure.
just kind of roll off.
Oh god.
But yeah, I mean, I know that
Like,
was like
yeah,
the
that
initial scandal, but I honestly, the weird thing was you're the only person that I know of on the face of the planet that watched it. I haven't seen anything
and I
about
didn't
that
even
anime.
finish it. I didn't even finish it, but no, like, it's got a really solid premise, and I hate that it, like, delivered. Like, it delivered pretty damn well. Like, on the whole death game
Damn you for
experience.
being good.
Yeah, no, it wasn't like edgelord teenager bullshit like, kind of how Future Diaries is or how Death Note is.
Yeah.
It's more it's got a weird kind of like not necessarily like kind of there is a vibe to it and I can't think of the term for it, but it's like when the goth mommy down the street loves like the cutesy stuff, it's like that.
Oh, okay. So
It's
it's like
kind of like that weird just like it's cutesy, but it's fucked up a little bit.
so like
Not like a
yeah,
Madoka
Madoka.
Magica.
I was just about to say that. That was the
Yeah,
first thing that came to
it's
mind.
similar, but not as dark as, Madoka.
Okay.
But yeah, no, like yeah, I'll get back to it and I'll report whenever I do, but yeah, I it pains me that I actually enjoy that show. The other shows that I have on my list that I'm going to finish, it's just gonna take me some time. City the Animation,
Same
fucking
here.
phenomenal show,
Yeah.
wonderful, gave the first episode an
I
8.5.
can I be honest though? I really hate, and I'm gonna have the same experience when they release Bleach Part
Oh
4.
boy,
I hate watching anime on Amazon. I'm so spoiled with
I do
Crunchyroll
too. I
and
fucking
High
hate it.
Dive because there's no ads, right? But like, I hate having to sit through like a minute, and people are like, "Well, you
I
pay
mean,
for
you
the
can, yeah,
Crunchyroll, you can upgrade Amazon Prime." I'm like, no.
it's like, I'm not paying $3 or whatever it is a month to pay for
And
no
we've
ads,
and
like,
we've
fuck
gone
that.
over this too. It's like there's so many now because there's Amazon, and then Disney Plus is eventually supposedly going to get the library over from Hulu, but right now it's on Hulu, and Hulu I have it with ads, and then it's like there's HBO Max,
Yeah,
and
but Hulu
just like
hasn't
it's
been getting anything new recently, they've just been getting
no,
the hand-me-downs from High Dive, which is kinda nice,
yeah, I don't
to
mind.
say the least, but yeah, the City is something that I'll come back to. It's on Prime, it's wonderful. If you like Nichijou and you've never heard of City, the animation, go watch it, it's just more Nichijou.
Yeah,
Um, we'll finish, The Summer Hikaru Died. I'm, like, 7 or 8 episodes in. It's been on the backlog, I keep forgetting about it, or just never really in the mood to watch it.
yeah, that's fair.
Reborn as a Vending Machine, Now I Wander the Dungeon season 2. I'll watch the dub for it one day. I know it's pretty
I
much all out if it's not already all out now. I have watched other dubs in the meantime to where that got put on the back burner.
So I have a couple of very long trips coming up. Well, I shouldn't say coming up, but in the next like handful of months where I know I'm just gonna be like, all right, time to actually do the thing I said I was gonna do 8 months ago, which is
Right.
watch the anime that I said I was gonna watch and finish.
And
So
then yeah, the last one on my list of, like, I will finish this is Lord of Mysteries. Like, I know that I gave it grief for the fact that I didn't know what the fuck was going on until, like, episode 2 or 3, but I got to
can
episode 6 and it's good. It's got a good premise to it. It's just I wasn't
I
ever in the
know
mood to watch it, and it was, like, 35-minute episodes each episode,
I
and I'm like,
know
That's a lot."
social media definitely like
Glazed it.
we
Glazed the
well
shit out of it.
I'm very jaded when it comes to things that are hyped on social media because it's always just like everything I heard about it, and like even from what I would say are credible content creators for anime, it was just
Yeah.
constantly just like this is literally the best anime you'll see, and it was never
It's
an explanation for why. It was just like it. They're like, oh, it just looks so fucking good, and I'm like, what is it about? And they're like, the animation quality is so, and I'm like, that's the only thing I heard. I will say I've never seen an anime drop off the face of the planet faster than Lord of Mysteries. I've not heard a peep about it in like a
since the
month
episode
plus.
1.
Oh yeah, like it's been a handful of weeks since anyone's even uttered like Lord of Mysteries on social media. And
Yeah.
again, like it's short form content. People's brains are basically goldfish.
Yep.
They have goldfish memory, right? Things fly by at a million miles an hour, and things don't stick around for a long time. I get that, but in fairness, like I still see To Be Hero X. I still see a bunch of stuff about Gachiakuta through this season, right? Don Don, like all the ones that we imagine sticking around. Lord of Mysteries, I just assumed would because of just how high people were like, it's literally gonna be anime of the year. It's gonna be anime of the year, no doubt. And like
Not even close.
nothing, crickets. I'm like, wow, that anime must have just dropped, plummeted.
Again, I wanna finish it because I'm curious as to how it continues, but
Mm,
at the same time, I'm just like, it gives good, interesting ideas. It's just a matter of just like, okay, I need to get further into it to see how they execute those ideas,
yeah,
if they execute them well or not.
like
So
like like any good series, right?
right, yeah, exactly. Like any good series, does it nail the landing or not?
Yeah,
But with that being said, let's go with the bottom of our list. Since I've got 16 shows on my list, I'm gonna start.
yeah.
So at the very, very bottom, we've already mentioned it once. Wataru-kun's butthole is about to collapse.
We still don't know what the. I mean, do you know what the
Still don't know
asterisks
what
are?
the no, I
Oh,
don't.
okay.
At this point, it's a 2 core. I'm on episode 11, and I'm just done with it at this point, but I have a feeling like it's like I'm good enough to grade it at this point.
Yeah.
Um, I recently saw a TikTok where it's just like, "Oh, best, shows romance shows of the season," and somebody listed this as number 2. I was like, "You must have brain damage
Number
because that's
two?
the number 2."
Number
Yeah.
two?
Yeah, I was like, "You must have brain damage because this show fucking sucks." This show is not good whatsoever.
Wow.
Animation was awful. Main character is just fucking horrendous. All the side like, all the girls in this show, there are 3 of them outside of, like, the little sister who just wants her big brother's attention, not, like, sexually or anything like
Yeah,
that, but just, like,
just to be
I
present in
I
her
love my
life.
big brother. Yeah. Um, like, one of the 3 girls is okay. The other 2 are just stupid as fucking rocks. Their characters make no sense. They do things outside of what well, I would say one of them is just psychotic and they do that well, but at the same time, they're not a likable character. Um, but like the main girl that he like tries to go after is just irredeemably bad and horribly written. Like she just like nothing about her character and what she stands for, and then she does the complete opposite thing of what you would
Of that.
expect this character to do. Like it makes 0 sense whatsoever. And it's frustrating. It's really just bad and dumb. So, with that being said, it's a 4. It's awful. So,
Yeah.
don't
I
waste
mean,
your time. Don't watch it
I
if you're
gave the
listening
first
to this.
episode a 5.5 because, and I said it was not impressive whatsoever. So it didn't. It, again, we always harp on the fact that first episodes are really key in today's anime world, just because of the sheer number of series that come out. Right, you have to keep people's attention. You have to be able to provide a sensible storyline and hook early on. Right, you can't just set unless you have a massive following because of you have a source material art or whatever, right? Like you have to be able to grab people's attentions. This one was never going to do that. The first episode
Yeah.
was just all over the place. There was a
I
garden,
was
there was a
I was hoping to
psychopath.
at least figure out what the fucking asterisks were,
You
if it was a
I
butthole, a garden, a family, or
You
whatever,
went
but
off on that solo ship, and I was on the beach just saluting you, sir. I was like, "You Godspeed, brave traveler." Meanwhile, I could see clear as day you were heading right for like a fucking cyclone, and I'm like, See you never again, my friend."
yeah,
You were
that was
doomed from the start with this one."
it was awful. With that being said, just gonna move right on to the next one. Onryo Kaiten, Rebirth versus or Verse. This was an original, and that's kind of
Yeah.
other than the fact that it was an original, it also got a day and date English dub or no, it didn't. It was 2 weeks behind for the English dub. Regardless, um, I could get through it weekly with the English dub, and yeah, I gave this one a 6 out of 10. I think that it did things well enough for an original. Like, it only had 12 episodes to start, middle, finish the fucking story.
Mhm.
I think it did it as well as it could have, but there were some twists that you saw coming, and then it's just like, as soon as one twist, like, happened, you're like, okay, well, they introduced this guy as the bad guy. You know he's not going to be bad. They're going to make up, and then there's this other bad guy that's going to swoop in, and then that bad guy is going to be redeemable somehow by the end, and then sure as shit, all of that happens. So it's
Mhm.
like, okay, while yes, the twists and turns are kind of like are interesting to this world, and like the world is interesting. Once the first one happened, you can see the rest of the plot just kind of fan out from there, and it was just like, all right, I- eh, it's not it's not great, but it's fine. It was just a fine show.
Yeah.
And speaking of fine, I've got 2 more before we get into the goods, and then we can have you talk because I've been talking for a while.
Sounds good.
Togen Anki, we just discussed it. This is a 6 out of 10 for me. Yeah,
Gooner.
it's a bit of a gooner show. Again, I kinda just watched the English dub for this one and just kinda listened to it while doing other things in the background, whether it be work, dishes, or, what have you, other various chores. Like, what sucks is that they present, like, a good world, but, like, all of the characters other than the fact that they are just gooner characters are just semi frustrating for the fact that it's just like if you can have one solid conversation, this whole show would probably just be swept under the rug,
Yeah.
like a lot of shows are. But it's just like you have this one faction who are just killing Oni because Oni are bad. If they go out of control, then they kill people. But it's like cool. Well, we're living in the modern age, and Oni can stay under control by just not being dickheads or by, not bleeding out. And then it's just like, great, we can all live in peace. And but no, everybody's just must destroy. So
Yeah.
it's not very good. It's fine. It's not great. I'm sorry if you love it because it's Gooner, but it's just fine. Other than the fact that it is that. And then lastly, as for my last 6 out of 10, I didn't have a first episode rating because either A, I didn't get to it by the time of the episode, or B, it didn't come out. I don't remember which. But I was reincarnated as the seventh prince, so I can take my time perfecting my magical ability. Season 2.
Oh gosh, yeah,
I
that one.
This show is so dumb, and I love it. There are a lot of really dumb things that happen in this series. You can see what's going to happen throughout the entirety of the series if you just kind of use your brain just a little teeny tiny bit.
Just a
But
smidgen.
I Just a smidgen. But I think what the most frustrating fucking thing is that this arc, season, what have you, uh, really revolved around the church, which is fine in itself. It's a big anime trope that happens, but like they use these 2 women for, like, basically healing and to heal people and, like, make them feel rejuvenated, they have to sing and play the piano, but
What?
the song that they play throughout the entirety of the season is the same exact song, so for, like, 7 episodes straight, you were just hearing just this fucking "ha ha ha" like, song, and it's just like, "Please,
Sounds
for the love
horrible.
of God, give me a little bit of variety." Just a little bit, and I can give this a 6.5. Like,
No, no, no.
it's still stupid fun, but just, like, it hurt a little bit more just hearing the same song over and over.
Yeah,
So
I
without
can.
further ado, I'm gonna give it over to you because I need some water.
Okay.
Also also, the Dodgers are blowing it in the bottom of the ninth, and I just
Yeah, I just looked. Yeah,
yeah, anyways, you
if
are
you
up.
see Frank rip out his facial hair, you know what happened. I only have a
Yeah, if I throw my
couple.
brand new phone across the room, you know
I
what happened.
only have a couple at the bottom. Unfortunately, they're kind of in the same bucket though. 6 out of 10 for "There's no freaking way I'll be your lover unless." Uh,
Unless
this one was on YouTube, which was odd enough as is. There's only other one series, which was that like hotel ghost one that we watched the first episode of, I think 2 seasons
yeah,
ago.
I can look it up while you
Yeah,
talk.
I can't remember. But I mean, I get the first episode a 7 out of 10. It was fun. I like the characters. It was going to be like a girls' love harem type, series, which you don't get those all too often. It seemed pretty tame. I liked how they were setting up the romance and the different love triangles throughout, but God, it just went the pure like horny mature route, and I'm like, wow, it's I don't know. It was frustrating because there was a lot of the characters I enjoyed. I love the quirky natures of a lot of them. The plot line, albeit really simplistic, it's like this girl has fallen in love with you and you don't have any feelings for them. So what are you going to do? You're going to challenge each other. One thinks that you won't fall in love with them. The other thinks that you'll end up falling for them. So, oh, what's going to happen? And it's just like all these different cliche moments of like, we're alone in a thunderstorm now. Oh boy, we have to run and find safety. Where do we
Oh,
find
no.
safety? At a hotel. And it's like, oh, you're gonna come over and play video games with me, but the other girl that I like is gonna come over and play video games too. What might transpire? It was just all those stuff, and I'm like, it's cute enough. And then every single scene would just get trumped by like a very sexualized scene, and it's just like it was too much. And I think it
Yeah,
took away from the story, which was unfortunate. But I gave it overall a 6 out of 10. And then my other one
fair
at the
enough.
bottom,
Tasokare Hotel, by the
yeah,
way.
the one that no one remembers because it was also on YouTube.
To be fair, we did see a couple videos come out once the season was over saying, like, "You should go back and give this show your time because it was great."
Yeah,
So, I was
no
just
one
like,
was
"Yeah, I
going to
know,
though. No one was going to.
I know."
It's sad. I know. Uh, my other in the six range was Bad Girl. I gave it a 6.5 out of 10. It was I My notes for it
Yeah,
were it
I
was
can see that.
humorous and enjoyable. The characters were all really fun. Some aggravating in their own ways, but they were still fun enough, right? I just nothing progressed though. That was the problem. Like you'd think that something would happen. You'd see all these different like relationships again, love triangles being created. It was very much in the same vein of the no freaking way I'll be your lover because it was all this,
Unless
mainly unless it girls love harem type. This person has feelings for that person but won't show it, but the main person has feelings for the other person and they kind of know it, but they're going to tease them. And then there's all these side characters that actually love the other main character, but they need to like, they don't want to really show them, but they kind of do in weird ways. And then this other character that gets to, it's just there's relationship triangles all over the place. But then nothing happens though. Like you get to the end of the episode and you think like, oh man, something's gonna happen. Someone's gonna confess. Someone's gonna actually push this along to some degree, and it's like, nope, nothing happens. And you're just like,
yeah.
oh god, what a waste.
I gave I gave that first episode a 7 out of 10 before I dropped it. My notes were funny gag show about cute characters and a fun premise. We'll watch some more to see if they expand on it or if it'll be a one trick pony.
It's
So it sounds like it's a one trick pony
but it's
essentially.
not a one trick pony though because they actually it makes fun of itself in that like I think it's like the eighth or ninth episode. The main character's like, wait a minute, I'm trying to be a delinquent, right? Delinquents actually because they're like every episode through like the first 3 or 4, right? They'll do something and they're like, "This is what delinquents do." And then they get flustered because the girl that they're trying to impress shows up and then they, cower and run away. And then like it starts to go away, but then towards the end they're like, "Hang on, I was I wanted to be bad. What am I doing? Well, this isn't what bad kids do." And I'm like, oh, I forgot about that. I forgot about that whole angle, the entirety of the show, because it was just like purely just all these different
Yeah,
relationships sprouting up, right? Or, well, sorry, love.
harem
eh,
relationship
eh,
things.
Well, they're not even really relationships. It was just like to be relationships.
Hmm.
If one of them actually said, a fucking word to the other person.
Okay,
So
fair enough.
it was kind of disappointing at the very end. I said the last sentence was it was an average anime in a pool of top tier series from the summer season. So it was definitely outshined by a lot.
Yeah. All right. We've still got a shit ton to go through and we've been at it for a while. So let's blast through some of these like just good shows.
Okay.
Um real quick, I'm going to talk about two that I know actually all three of my goods, 7 out of 10s. I don't think you watched one of them. So I'm just going to talk about them. Rising of the Shield Hero season 4.
No.
Finally, finally some good fucking sauce here. Like I am genuinely happy
Some
that
good
like
sauce.
Shield Hero was actually good. Like it was by no means great. Like I would say season 1 is like a 7.5 to an 8, maybe like a 7.75,
Mm-hmm.
somewhere in that area. This is a solid 7. This is kind of a return to like as good as it's going to get since season 1 cuz season 2 and 3 were awful. Season 4 finally decent pacing, decent animation, really good story. Really enjoyed the story and the world development that they did. Thank God, finally, we got some good shit out of this
Only took
series, so
2
very
bad
happy.
seasons to get through.
No fucking joke, dude. The other 7 out of 10, The Water Magician, I don't think you watched that one.
Nope.
Really enjoyed it, really good world building. I mean, it's nothing, like, brand new, it's nothing, like, that hasn't been done before, but it is very good for an isekai, because I keep forgetting that it is an isekai, but it's you genuinely forget that he is dead, it just feels more like a fantasy
Hmm.
than anything. But I really enjoyed it, but the animation quality definitely fucking stumbles throughout after like episode 1, maybe 2, and it just never recovers after
Hmm.
that. But I think as an overall, it's got interesting or not interesting, they're good characters in an interesting world. Like I think that if they were to get a season 2, I would like for them to expand a bit more on the world because they introduce things and then they just fucking don't touch it. And I'm just like, no, go back, go I
Yeah,
want
like
to know
that
about
thing.
that,
Yeah.
please. So yeah, I'm looking forward to a season 2. And then the last one is Sakamoto Days season 2. I actually gave this a 7 out of 10. I thought this was a good season. It was a better season than season 1. Season 1 was abysmal. I do think that some of the fight scenes here still weren't as up to snuff as they could have been, but they were better by far. They were better than season 1 and I do like the story more so Thank God, Dodgers. Jesus fucking Christ.
I just got the
Sorry.
update too.
Yeah, fucking they throw Roki Sasaki in for one batter in the ninth. It's like, just use him as your closer. Anyways, that's a different podcast. Sakamoto Day season 2. Yeah, no, I like the story a lot more here because you have your developed characters, you have your developed world. Let's progress the plot a little bit more and like see what we're doing here and just get more into the bad, like the villains.
Yeah.
So those are my 7 out of 10s. What did you have, if anything, for your sevens?
Um, I only really had one, and I haven't finished it all the way through. Full transparency, it's just I'm pretty sure I can give it a solid rating. I know you have it higher because you haven't said it yet, but I gave Ruri Rocks a 7.5 out of 10.
I was gonna
It's
ask you, do you wanna do a top 5? Because this is a top 5 show for me.
I mean, not yet. I still have a handful of shows left,
No, no,
but
no, I'm saying, like, in general, would you
oh, a
like to
top
do
five.
we usually do top 3, would you
Let me
like to do a
see.
top 5 this time? Because
One,
I could
two, three,
definitively say
four,
this is a 1, 2,
five.
3, 4, 5
Yeah,
for me.
yeah, that's fine. Okay, are you at your top five yet or no?
Ruri Rocks is in my top 5.
No, I know, but like from what you've said,
No, I'm not.
how many you
I've
have left?
got, uh,
One,
3,
two,
4,
three,
5. I've
four,
got 4.
five.
4
Okay,
before my top 5.
I have four. Okay, so
Okay.
I'll say my four, you say your four, and we'll go into our top five. And I should make mention, it's mine's are 7.5 and above from here on out, right? Like, this is top
Yeah,
heavy.
I'm
I
at an 8 and above
I
from
feel
here on out as well.
like I tried to reevaluate them, and I'm like, I don't think I can give them lower grades because I thoroughly enjoyed them all the way through. Like,
Same. No, I
um,
very much so agree.
Ruri Rocks, I mean, very cute story. Love the characters. Animation quality is awesome. So it was wonderful to look at, especially for this type of series where it's all based like mainly in the outdoors. You're like going in and finding rocks and just hiking in the mountainous regions of Japan. Like you have to make it look appealing through and through, and it did deliver on that front. Well done. My only issue was like I there's only so much of like learning about the rocks, how the sediment moves through time, how
And
weather affects it.
animation
Yes,
and animation,
I'm glad.
edumation, whatever you wanna call
I'm
it.
glad sexy Bill Nye got to you when you were watching
Dude,
this.
it wasn't
But
even just sexy Bill Nye. We'll get into it later because
yeah, no, I
I've got
know.
that in my
But
top
like
5 still.
it was, I mean, definitely better than solo camping for 2, right?
Oh,
But
100%.
it's in that same vein of unless you're really into I mean, would you classify it geology, I
Yeah.
guess? Like if that speaks to you, if you have a real connection with it, I'm sure you'll love the absolute crap out of this series. For me, I enjoyed watching the episodes, but it wasn't like I was going to keep up with it every week. It was something that fell by the wayside pretty early. It's going to be on my like full watch list. I'm through a bit of it, but it wasn't enough for me to go, yes, this is like a top tier, something I would absolutely suggest to people. I'd be like, hey, do you like rocks and really thick women that go out and find them? You're in luck. I have the
Do
quite
I have
literally perfect
do I have
series
the
for you.
show for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I'll talk more about it because when we
Yeah,
get to our top.
that works. Um, so but these are all before my top five. Again, before people freak
Right,
out.
right. Continue, continue.
Donadon season 2. I gave an
Yep,
8 out of 10.
I gave it an
I
8.5.
I I thought it was still chaotic. It was still fun. Loved the progression. It definitely felt like it slowed down a bit. And
My only note for this, thought we would get further into the series, but still great.
yeah, there's no real hiccups with it, to be honest. It's just it was
I was
it was slower. It was they I feel like they took their time with a couple of arcs that I felt like lasted a wee bit too long. But again,
like,
was
last season, they would have blasted through.
yeah,
Yeah.
like wasn't upset by it. It was still fun. Science Saru
Mhm.
still kicking ass with their animation quality. Still love the
100%.
plot line. I love the characters that they introduced, as well as our last little like cliffhanger one that we left off on. Humor was always there throughout the entirety of the season. Just wasn't to the level that season 1 had delivered on.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, my only note is thought we would get further because At the very last episode, we are introduced to a character. I thought we would have gotten introduced to that character around season or episode 8 or 9,
Mhm.
and then we would have gotten the full backstory plus the next fight.
Yeah.
I thought we would have gone at least there or at to the beginning of the next fight because that
Would have
whole
been
lead up is so fucking good, and it would have been well paced even if they blasted through some of that fight,
yeah. And
like the fight that they got through this season.
I mean, even
So
the end of season 1, my complaint with it, right, was just how it ended. It ended in, like, such a clunky nature. This one didn't feel as clunky because again, I'm coming in it from someone that hasn't read it. So it
just
felt like,
thinking of the next
"Oh,"
panel,
like, just I was like, "Oh, this is just like a great segue into another season." But I can understand if you know the source material and you're like, it's literally,
yeah.
like, right next. It's the very next thing. So,
The panel that season 3 will start with is incredible. Anyways,
um
looking forward to that. Continue.
Summer Hikaru died. I have it an 8.5. So I gave the first episode a 9.5. It's dropped by a point. My whole issue with it is that it was certainly was scary, certainly very thrilling, suspenseful throughout. Love the I like the concept a lot of and we're not going to go into spoilers with it because there's a
Yeah.
lot in this one. My issue though is that it did take its sweet ass time to start explaining things, and when they'd explained it to you, I could not keep up. Like they were throwing out different facts, they were like starting to unravel the story, but it wasn't a slow methodical unraveling. It was basically just you ever see those videos of the cats when they get a toilet paper roll and they just hit it and it just all the toilet paper flies off at once. It
Yeah.
was like that. Like just in the
So
span of like an episode and a half or two, you just get a full info dump, and they're like, Remember it because these names and these concepts are going to be super
mhm.
fucking important."
Yeah, so currently, if I were to give it a rating, because I'm on episode 8. I've got 5 episodes left.
Hmm.
So not much. I would give it a 7.5 right now if
It's
I were to rate it because like, it's good. I wouldn't say that it's scary or suspenseful. It's unnerving more than anything
there's
because this whole entire time, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop and nothing happens, and I'm like,
so
what?"
it's so weird because obviously as the title suggests, like Hikaru is a character who dies, but like the whole story is
Spoilers.
I'm sorry. I know, I'm apologies. I said no spoilers and I spoiled it immediately. But no, but like the m- I can understand it from that perspective too, right? Because you're constantly waiting for something to happen, right? And you're just like on the edge, like, is it gonna happen this episode? When's it gonna happen? It's got to be coming up. They're hitting a climactic point, and there doesn't really feel like it. I completely understand that too. I think it's because that climactic point is like the beginning. It's like the first episode, right? Where
Yeah.
it's like whoa, and then it's like okay, now we have to figure out what to do and like what this is and
And
how we're
and you
gonna
can't even say like, "Hey, we're setting up characters and, like, how they
no,
feel in
because
the series," because they just are. They're just there. You don't really learn inherently anything about them. It's like the first 6 episodes are just like, "Do I stay friends with him or
yeah.
do I just be killed by him and just tell everybody that
Well,
he's actually
that's
dead?"
a bigger spoiler than anything I said. But yeah, no,
But at the same
no, no,
time,
no.
it's just
I
like,
know. I've
that's the entirety of the first 6 episodes, and I'm like, "Fucking do something
no,
at this point."
I will
It's
say
pretty, but fucking do something.
I will say it improves. It's just the problem is that they give you all of that in just one go. And
Yeah. Okay.
it's much it would have been I mean my notes on it were it, the yeah there's a dense amount of plot dumping towards the end that left a bit of a sour taste in my mouth. I said I would have
Okay.
liked the plot to be revealed more evenly throughout rather than at the tail end of the season, just because it's so much like it's what you had made a comment about it earlier, and I joked that was like, yeah, it's what makes a good series, right? Where it's like you have to have a hook and then deliver on it. You can't just like leave someone hanging and end your
It's like
season,
the
right?
fish is just nibbling at the bait, but it hasn't gotten all the bait quite yet.
It's not even that. It's like basically they threw out a line with no bait on it and they're just like fucking eat it. And you're like, well, there's nothing really there for me to do. And then
That's
they're
fair.
like,
Yeah.
all right, let's try this. And they cast out like a massive like hamburger, and then they're just like reel it in really fast. I'm like, catch it, catch it, catch it, you shit. And they're like, all right, you did. Did you remember all that? You got it? Good. And you're like, oh my God, it's just way too much. Just slow roll. Like let it
Yeah.
ease through. But
Fair
it's
enough.
the cliffhanger is enough that'll make me want to watch season 2, though. I'll say. Like for all
Good.
of again, I gave it an 8.5 too, so it's not even like it's truly that
We
negative.
are saying a lot of negatives about an 8.5
I
now.
mean, again, I loved it. It's just everything about it I liked. I like the characters. I like the concept. I love the animation. I truly like. I love this like battle, like emotional battle that the main character has with Hikaru too. Like, there's a lot of layers to it. The problem is that when you're finally at the point of like, all right, now let's uncover this mystery. They just don't get to it until like episode 9 or 10, and then it's just a massive just woof of like info that's just avalanche falling on top of you. And then like they keep referencing it 2 episodes later, and you're like, I don't there was a person and a head, and that's all I remember. And like
Yeah,
that's the biggest problem with it. But again, it's still an 8.5 in my opinion.
that's fair.
All right, and then
Am
the
I up or
last
do you have one more?
I have one more. It's so this is my I'm gonna label it as my cheat one because I didn't watch it all the way through, but I've read it. Okay, and it's Taco P's Original Sin. Okay, I've read it. I don't need to watch it.
Okay.
I was sad enough as is. I bawled my eyes out watching the first episode. Like I was depressed after reading it too. Like it just doesn't is relentless. It does not stop. Okay, I don't need to see the full thing. I just know if I had to give it a rating, it'd be a 9 out of 10 for sure.
Yeah.
It's one of the most powerful stories that you could ever capture in a short series, like a limited series. For 6 episodes, like I don't think you could really.
I'm honestly surprised this will I thought for
Yeah.
sure that this was gonna be your number 1 of the season.
No.
Dead serious,
I
I thought this was gonna be your number
I
1 just because
can't.
of how good it is. Like, I know it's depressing and everything, but I for sure thought that that's where this was
I
going, this
could. So
episode was. I was like, "Okay, he's gonna talk about this last and he's gonna fuck up my top 5."
no, 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 no.
And
It's
here it is, I'm gonna fuck up your top 5 probably.
no,
Not
no,
really,
no.
actually,
It
there's shows you probably didn't watch.
I labeled as an honorable mention 9 out of 10 basically. I don't want to put it in my top 5 because again, I didn't watch it all the way through, right? So it could have the animation quality could have gone abysmal. They could have deviated from the story. I don't know why they would, but like, I can't speak on any of that. I just know from what I read that this was going to be an incredible series once it ever got animated, and when I knew it and then when I saw it announced, I was like, "Oh boy, can't wait to be sad yet again." And the first episode destroyed me, and I was like, I can't go 5 more weeks of doing this. This is gonna ruin me. But I was like, I know it's incredible. Just it's it's such a hard it's such a very challenging thing to showcase, right? Because it's these are things that we usually want to escape from. You know, they're not things that we
Right.
like to talk about. They're very very charged subjects. It's none of it's easy. We had a difficulty talking through some of the stuff in Erased when we reviewed that. This is that on every sort of steroid imaginable. Like it's something hard to navigate. I would love to do just a full review episode of it and have us just watch all the way through it because it is only 6 episodes. Because then I could go dive deeper into it. But like I I didn't I never really had any intention of putting it in my top 5 or top 3 even because I'm like I I don't I was sad. It's like everything about it is just sad, and it's wonderful. I would recommend this for someone who has the stomach and the heart and the mental fortitude to navigate through it for sure. But this is not something I recommend lightly at all. So it's in its own unique first ever category I'll create for it, which is just an honorable mention for the season.
Fair enough. I'm gonna blast through 3 of these since I had 4, but Dan to Dan was one of them. I'm gonna go into and I hope this isn't in this would probably be the only one in your top 5 here, Kaiju number 8, season 2.
No,
Don't know if you watched it or not.
Bro, I have no
So,
interest. I'm sorry.
fair
Like
enough.
I've read most of it. I think I'm a handful of chapters behind.
So,
I
okay, let
yeah.
me just talk then.
All right.
Kaiju number 8, season 2. There is a point in the manga where it takes a very slow dip. Anime just fucking breezes right through it, and I love that.
Yeah.
I love that so much. I was like, "Man, this season's gonna lose a lot of people because it takes forever to get through this shit." Nope, they breeze through it in about 2 episodes, maybe 3,
Oh wow.
and they just yeah, they fucking went for it, and then they legitimately, like, if you were to break this series into, like, 3 parts, like, part 1 where season 1 ended, part 2 would have been just, like, the really slow, methodical, just, like, training arc, and then part 3 is, like, the final start of the final battle/final slash final battle, and they got into the start of the final battle, and I'm
Yeah, I
like,
was gonna say
"Fuck
there's got to be only
yeah."
like one season left then.
Oh, yeah, no, like, legitimately, there's probably 1 season, maybe 1 in a movie.
Yeah.
Like, they blew through the worst part of the manga, and I love that for it. It's an 8 out of 10. I'm so happy with it. I agree with everybody that the art style is utter bullshit,
Yeah.
but I can look past it because I enjoy the series. It is what it is. I'm not gonna let, like, character design, whatever, stop me from enjoying this. So there's that. The other that was an 8 out of 10. My last 8 out of 10 here on this list. This was a show you and I both wrote off, and I'm so happy I stuck with it because it was legitimately so good.
Uh-oh.
And that was Clevitus.
Oh,
Clevitus was it was wonderful. It was a dark fantasy show that both you and I were like, "Nah, it's okay." I watched episode 1, I'm
it's
like, "Fuck, dude, like, I'm in. I'm
it's
in. This show is great."
it's in my top 5, bud.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's in my top 5.
Yeah. This is an 8 out of 10. I fucking love this show. This show is great.
Mhm.
I think that it gave a wonderful, compelling world. It gave great main characters, with the trio plus baby. I think that the side characters that they introduced and the ideas behind them
Isn't that
and
just
their
a
kind of
hangover?
motivations. What?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I said, "Isn't that just the hangover?" You said the trio plus baby, and that was the first thing that popped in my
They're not looking for their 4th person though, okay?
You don't know that. They could be.
That's
They
true.
kind of are. They kind of are. A little
Anyways,
bit.
No, I thoroughly enjoyed this show. I It took me by surprise, and I'm so happy I stuck with it.
Mhm.
And then the last show, which I gave an 8.5, which is just outside my top 5, like, this between this and my number 5, it's like I could go either way. Secrets of the Silent Witch.
Wow. Oh my.
Yeah. I love this series. I picked up the first book, like, the first manga on a whim, like, 2 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And I was, like, in love with this series. I thought it was a great, like, slice of life fantasy. You're doing the math as to what's in my top 5?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Um, yeah, no, I think Secrets of the Silent Witch is incredible. I think that the adaptation was better than it ever should have been. It goes way past what I've read in the manga, so, like, after episode 5 or 6, like, it was just all brand new to me, and I'm like, "This is great. I can't wait to, read this as well."
Yeah.
But this was a light novel. It's based off a light novel and then got a manga adaptation, and it's slowly releasing. We might get, like, 1 to 2 releases a year. I think the first year we got 2, and then last year we got 1, and then this year we've gotten 1 as well. Um, I know. We'll get into the top 5
I,
soon.
I don't even know what series could be in your top 5. I know 2 of them. I what Okay. All right. Well,
Fair enough.
I
We'll
can't
get
wait
there.
to
But yeah, no,
hear about
Secrets
it.
of the Silent Witch, I assume this is in your top 5 then, or did
Yeah.
you not watch it? Yeah,
No, it
okay.
is.
We could talk more about it then. But yeah, this is just hanging outside at number 6 for me. Like, I
What?
thoroughly love this series. It's a great fantasy show. If you're looking for, like, a lighthearted fantasy with a tiny bit of action, like, watch it. It's great. It's on Crunchyroll. We can talk about it a little bit more. Do you need me to do my number 5 since I've done 2 of your top 5s?
Um,
No, because I'm gonna ruin your fucking list.
yeah,
What's
the
your number
rest
5? No, what's your number 5?
my number
Because
5 is
I'm gonna ruin it.
my number 5 is Clevitus.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's get into it.
I thought I yes, we did write it off. It looked weird. I honestly, the description of it gave it no justice. I feel like that
Did it
there was,
dirty. Did
yeah,
it dirty. It
yeah.
was so bad.
Um, no, I absolutely enjoyed it. It's like we don't get a lot of actual dark fantasies that often. This one hit every single note that you want in a true like dark fantasy, right? You
And
and
not being like an edgelord bullshit, just
yeah,
like
yeah, like excellent world building. I mean, you established it very early on, right? You have a set world. You create these monster deities, so to speak, that like rule the outskirts, and the whole concept of just like expansion for man, right? Very simplistic, but they deliver so well in highlighting the different like the regions and the ruling factions, not to mention like almost instantly, right? You get your long first episode that creates your initial conflict. You get the immediate payoff of like, all right, what's to come, and you have your set through line, like all in the first episode. Yeah, again, it's a long episode, right? So you can get it done in that. Understand, but it did it perfectly. My key note for this, because I if I keep talking about it, I'll go into too many spoilers. But my key like note that I wrote down was there are very few series that leave an audience skeptical on the outcome of its like quote unquote heroes or main party, but this series made it very apparent from the start that our main company was going to face constant turmoil with little to no hope of survival. Like
yeah.
that was like I love that. You don't get that a lot. You get like the ones where it's like, are they gonna make it out? And you're like, of course they're gonna make it out. They're the only character that matters in this whole goddamn. Oh look, they suddenly got a superpower, or like oh look, middle of the fight they learned from their ancient grandfather a new technique and they won. Whoop de doo, right? This series was like, how do you win? Like what are you gonna do? Like what's gonna happen? Because you're like they're
Figure it out,
they're
bud.
fucked. They're fucked all the way. Like every single episode, I'm like, oh, you're fucked. It's like no hope. Goodbye. Take care. See you later. I was like, but I love that. I love feeling like a sense of dread constantly because you. There's very few series that have that, right? And it this series it did it so well. I gave it an 8.5. I feel like there
Yeah.
was a couple of moments where it was slow and I get that there was purpose to it, right? Like I think the first immediate arc was just stretched out. Now the ending was awesome. Loved how it wrapped up, right? But
Mhm.
it's certainly there was a bunch of it in the middle where you're like, all right, we got to roll it along a little bit. We're kind of stuck in this very small area. Like I want to see more of what's in store, right? Like first episode we got a huge region into like a forbidden region, and then like the whole world introduction, and I'm like now I'm stuck in this tiny ass little like town, not
Blip.
even. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was a few nitpicky things here and there, but man, it was just I loved it, thoroughly loved it.
Yep. You're gonna have to give me your number 4 because I'm gonna ruin it with
Oh,
a
for fuck's
5.
sake. I gotta go back through. What was that? 8.5. So then it would be this one. Okay. I'm gonna pull a U and
Oh
surprise
boy.
you. My number 4 is
Oh.
My Dress Up Darling.
You whore.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my number 2. You whore.
Oh, womp womp.
Okay.
So
Let's get into it.
yeah, I I certainly think it was better than the first season, but for different reasons.
Okay.
I love the fact that it was more focused on the romance and relationship between Marin and Gojo. I absolutely adored the different cosplays. I love the new characters that we met. That being said, I like it seemed like there were again a handful of times where I was like, wow, this character is like, kind of they're a good just what's the word I'm looking for? Not a scapegoat, but like they gave they introduced this character for a very specific purpose, and like they fit that purpose perfectly, and you're like, all right, now get out of the way. And that's kind of what happens for a few of them, and you're like, okay, you filled your role, great. I'm glad we're here now. We had two returning ones from before. Well, I guess three in total, but like there were
I
just a couple
can't.
of things where I'm like, you know what? I still loved it, still absolutely adored it, right? I just and again, I love the fact we got a little teaser, I'll say, at Anime Expo as well, where the voice actors for Marin and Gojo were there, and they were like, "Oh, just be ready because there's going to be more romance in season 2." And we were all like, "Oh my gosh, yay! Can't wait!"
And it's
And
just the most ridiculous fucking shit ever, and it's great. I love it.
I love it. I love it too. It was again 9 out of 10, handful of just tiny nitpicky pieces. I
Fair.
this it was so hard though. I'll be honest, it was so hard. My you could have I could have made an argument for my top 5 and switched the order for anyone. I could have given Clevitus number 1 in my opinion.
Yeah.
I could have given My Dress Up Darling number 1. Like I could have made an argument for any of these to be number 1. It was so top heavy. I felt like in terms of pure enjoyment, I enjoyed this like a
Less than
micron
others.
less. Like a
Yeah.
micron less than the other 3 that I have.
So for me, this is my number 2. I give this a 9.5.
Okay.
Um, reason being, I've read the entire series. I know everything that happens. I know where this ends. I know that we only have 1 season left. I know the throwaway character you're referring to. I know what characters come back in season 3 and what roles they
Yeah,
play.
I mean,
And because of that, and I think because of that, once you watch season 3, I guarantee you that the season 2, just knowing what happens at the end of season 3 and what happens in there, season 2 is gonna be just a little bit higher in your
no, I
ratings
but
because, like, it
you can't
flows
you
so
can't you
well.
can't go
Oh, I know.
retroactive. You can't.
I understand. I
I
understand.
have to
I
judge the
understand. But
season by what it gave me, right? It gave me a
for me,
lot. I love the absolute shit out of it. But again,
yeah,
it's it'd be like it'd be like me ranking the top 5 best moments of my entire life, right?
that's
And it's like
no,
every moment is like a smidgen better than the last.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I
You
understand the
you you
retroactiveness.
said
No, I'm
fuck
not.
you when
I
I
am saying
said.
fuck you because it is a 9.5 in my book. No, like, every week in, week out, I enjoyed this second most
Mhm.
every single week. But also just knowing where the story goes, all the characters, I think that everything was done wonderfully. It was adapted beautifully.
Yeah.
God, I can't even talk about it without saying a spoiler, so I'm not gonna go into there. Um, yeah, there's just a lot that happens here that sets up a lot for season 3, and I cannot wait for those moments of just payoff to just happen because it is like, it just seeing the just setup is just as enjoyable as the payoffs of what characters do, what
Yeah.
just everything about it. So, that's my number 2. I'm gonna go into my number 5. Fuck your list. Gachi
That's
Yakuta is my
fine.
number 5.
Okay.
Uh, Gachi Yakuta is my number 5. I think, weirdly enough, I think core 1 ends at 13 because I just watched episode 13 today, and it is like an extension of what's been going on, and then the next episode will start the second core
Yeah.
and kind of get into the new arc because the arc just ended.
Mhm.
Um, holy fuck, that arc ended on a note. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know if you watched episode 13 or
Oh,
not. I
yeah.
assume you have. Yeah, Jesus Christ. But also at the same time, like, this is great. Like, I gave episode 1 a 9. Overall, I gave it an 8.5. I think that there were times that it lulled about a little bit too much and it could have progressed a little quicker. But at the same time, that's what happens when you have battles and a lot of exposition during battles. It's just kind of the nature of the thing. So that's why I brought it down to an 8.5 rather than being at a 9. I think Yakuta is wonderful. It's a great new series. I'm looking forward to core number 2. It's great. My only note here is wonderful trash.
I mean, yeah, that's what it translates to, kind of, I guess.
Exactly. Well, no, yeah, but the whole premise of the show being revolving around trash.
Well, yeah, I know that
Wonderful
too.
trash.
That was
Anyway,
yeah.
uh, I assume this is somewhere in your top 5.
Yeah, I'm not gonna tell you.
That's okay. So I hit the nail on the head. It's number one. My number four, and I kind of alluded to this last week in our episode about anime tourism. Ruri Rocks. You were saying that this is outside. This was a 7 or an 8 to you. This is an 8.5 for me. As a kid, I was very much so into rocks. I loved looking at crystals. I loved
Yeah, you look
looking
like a
for
rock
rocks
kid.
in the yeah,
Probably
no, I
ate
know. I was
them,
not
shoved them up your butt.
I was a trained kid till about 4 or 5, and then I was a rock kid until, high school. Um, I fucking this show spoke to me on so many levels. The education about it too just was just a cherry on top. Animation throughout the entirety of its 13 episodes, which I was surprised it got 13. Because if you honestly, you can watch 12 and be done with it. The 13th episode is kind of just like, let's go to the onsen and then learn about rocks in the onsen.
All the
So
minerals and
there's
stuff.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a little bit kind of a throwaway. It's not necessarily integral to what they're doing. Um, but again, it's not everybody's show. I'm not expecting anybody to give this over a 7, let alone an 8. I gave this an 8.5 because this spoke to me on a whole other level that I'd never really expected it to. Once I heard about the show was coming out, my brain just was like, "Holy shit, I didn't even think of this, like, this being, like, an actual series." So, for it to actually come out, deliver on so many different levels of character likability/annoyance, because that main character is a little bit of annoying, but she does learn and gets better throughout the entirety of the series, in my opinion. And then to have, like, the other kind of university students really kinda guide her along and be mentors and be a good, not good figure in their life, I think was wonderful, and not overtly being like, "No, you need to do this, you need to do that." It's like,
Yeah.
"Let me just guide you to your answer rather than giving you the answer."
Yeah.
Um, I think I think so highly of this show. I absolutely loved it. It spoke to me on another level. 8.5 out of 10. Um, I've got my top 3. You've got 3 left, I assume, somewhere in there.
Yep.
My number 3 is Call of the Night season 2.
Okay.
So, I gave this a 9 out of 10. They, season 1 was wonderful. Not a lot really necessarily happened plot-wise. It was mostly just like, let's introduce the world, let's introduce vampires and their kind of mechanics of, like, how they work as a person, like, people living in society, and then here's a bunch of characters, and just
Yeah.
here's what they're all about. Season 2 is just like, "Great, you have all of this knowledge, let's expand a little bit more on it and give you, like, an antagonist, a plot, and a resolution to that plot." And then leave you off at the very end with just a little bit of teaser of what may happen in season 3. I think the pacing was wonderful, the characters were great, the animation was phenomenal. Everything about this show hit high, like, on all the highest notes that it could. I
Mhm.
don't think that this series as a whole could ever reach a 10 out of 10, but I do think that this series, like, its high is a 9.5, it reached a 9. Like, I think that it was wonderful in everything that it did. It's better than season 1, in my opinion, and I'm so looking forward to season 3, whenever that may be.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm sure it would have been in the top for me too. I mean, I gave the first episode an 8 out of 10. I just could not get
Yeah,
around to finish it with everything else going on. Plus, I had read
that's
most
fair.
of it, so I was like, I will get to it for sure eventually. But
That's fair. So I've
again,
only got my top number 1 left because we've already
yeah,
talked
yeah,
about my
yeah.
number 2, which is my Dress Up Darling.
I
So
mean, you can
what
talk.
is the rest of your top 5?
You can still talk about my Dress Up Darlings. I know this one you have not watched. My
Okay.
number 3, and you could scream all you want that it's above Mud Dud. I don't care. With You in the Rain. I gave the first
See, I
episode.
I didn't know anything about it other than the fact that you said, "Frank, you should watch this show," and I did not watch the show.
I gave the first episode 7.5 out of 10, thinking like I had no expectations going in. The whole premise was woman walking the streets during a thunderstorm finds a tanuki dog in a little cardboard box. Is like, I don't need this, and it starts writing on a piece of paper, and she's like, why not? Let's try it. And you're just like, that's what, like, you're like, that's a weird concept. there's a little tanuki that can write. They're all mischievous. I get that. You know, they can shapeshift apparently. They can fly using their scrotums, like that one fucking movie
Yeah.
by Studio Ghibli. But I was like, "Well, sure, they can write too, whatever. Right? I This show is the pure embodiment of a slice of life. Like with a fun little twist with the our little tanuki friend. Like nothing insane happens. There's no real story or plot. It's just the daily life of an author trying to come up with new ideas for books or getting requested to do other, short series for people or whatever, right? Just the
Yeah.
life of being a writer, okay? With the added little bonus of the little tanuki to boot, okay? But man, every single episode had just such a wholesome message. Every episode you've wrapped up and you're like, I feel so much better than I did 25 minutes ago when I started this episode. Like there's it was so just pure enjoyment. And I know I rag on other series of like, oh, if you're a slice of life, you have to have something to keep me around. Like I know the perfect one that I know I'd get lambasted on if people who complain about my TikTok videos ever actually listen to the podcast, because they don't yet, but you should, and then you can yell at me
Ooh.
more. But like my complaints about the living, like the killing slimes for 300 years, right? And I'm like, it's an isekai slice of life and nothing happens. And people are gonna be like, oh, nothing happened. You said nothing happened in this one. And you gave it a 9 out of 10. Like the difference is I expect things to happen in an isekai. I expect things to happen when you're creating a harem and you actually have conflicts, right? This anime doesn't. It's literally just real life, woman working, finds a tanuki, and that's the only weird thing about it. And I love, like, there's all these pure gag humor moments of like people looking at it and it's like, it writes, I'm a dog. And they're like, yeah, I believe it. It's a dog. There's a moment where they go to the vet and the vet's like, I've never seen this type of dog before. And it just goes, don't worry, I'm a dog. And it goes, And the tanuki's like shaking and it's like, woof. And it's like, oh, you got me. All right, we're good.
Nailed it.
But the hilarious moment was like halfway through, they're in the park. This random girl walks by. She's like, oh, that's a raccoon. And it's like, those, nope, I'm a dog. And even the owner's like, that's a dog. And she goes, I haven't seen dogs like this before. I'm pretty sure it's a raccoon. And then the owner goes, yeah, you're right, it's a raccoon. And the dog just freezes and drops its little notepad and just is in shock. I love that. It's so pure. Just again, it embodies the purity of a slice of life through and throughout. And it's a number 3 because the only reason being, rated the first episode 7.5 and it jumped up 1.5 to a 9 out of 10 for me. It's like, if this is the perfect type of series where I'm like, if you want something that still has that little anime magic of being like unrealistic, fantastical, however I want to describe it, but in all intents and purposes, very much grounded in reality, this one's excellent. Because it's just like the life of a writer who happens to find a tanuki that knows how to write in kanji. Or hiragana, I should say, because it's mostly hiragana. Which, by the way, a little extra kicker for this one too. If you're like me and you're taking Japanese lessons, you should also watch this series, only because the little tanuki only writes in hiragana. So if you're learning all your characters, it's a great way to learn. Like I like halfway through the season, I'm like, I know what that says. I don't need the subtitles. I know what that says. It's wonderful. So it's like a great learning tool too. So it's got a little like extra, real life bonus to it too. But no, I think this is one where I would suggest it. Like if you're stuck in your house, if you're sick, if it's just constant raining, thunderstorms outside, again, no pun intended with it being with you in the rain, but
Yeah.
this one's just a superb one to just knock out in one fell swoop if you're, bedridden, whatever the case might be, because it is so wholesome, so pure, and just a pure, it's just fun enjoyment through and throughout. Love it.
Fair enough. Is your number 2 then Secrets of the Silent Witch?
Yes, it is.
Interesting. Okay, I'm curious to hear what you have to think about this series because again,
That's why I
this
was
is one of those series that
shocked.
I told you about. I was like, "You need to watch this.
That's why
This
I'm
is gonna be great."
shocked.
Yeah. So let me have it.
Oh,
Let me
oh,
hear your thoughts on
9.5 out of 10. I thought legit
it. Damn.
if Gachi Akuta wasn't out this season, this would have for sure been my number one, like hands down. I don't think you could have gotten a better story in a world like a fantasy world than this one. I love the this very interesting take on the concept of magic, incorporating mathematics into it. Like it gave reason to everything that was happening. There's a lot of fantasy series where they're just like magic exists because there's a giant crystal that floats in the sky and or because there's mana that certain people can gather from the ground that's constantly flowing. You know, whatever bullshit. And they're like you're like, oh, "Okay, I believe it, whatever." But like this series is like, no, we're gonna actually like bring concepts that you understand into it so it makes sense. Like it's reason there's reason behind how these things exist, right? It's it goes into why can this witch do everything without chanting the spell because everyone else has to chant the spell and that's the formula, right? That's formulaically that's how you create these different spells. Like you can do combinations of them and that's how you get bigger spells. Like the more complex they are, the longer the chant is. Like it gives everything a reason behind it. And I love that. And they don't shove it down your throat. It's like something almost as if it's presented as a throwaway, but it's like an integral piece to it. I
Yeah.
really appreciate that in the world building aspect.
It's not a throwaway, but it is integral, but it's not integral enough that you need to know every little
They
single
don't
detail about
they
it.
don't remind you constantly, right? There's a lot of series where it's like, I can't believe I've gained this much power from the energy crystal beyond the mountain of Urgerberg. And you're like, I if I hear about the mountain of Urgerberg one more time, I'm going to go to it and I'm going to make sure it's wiped off the face of the planet.
Blow it up.
Yeah, it's going to erupt just from my pure
Yeah.
rage. But no, like I and like the animation was wonderful. I love the different characters. Like I love how grounded they are, right? They all understand who they are. Like
Yep.
I would say there's character development, but in all honesty, there's maybe like two characters that show some growth, if that. Like the other ones are just like they're
It's
there.
really just the main character,
I would
honestly.
say
Yeah,
the
I guess there are, like, a side character, maybe
yes,
2.
there's two
Yeah, there's not a
there's
lot, but there
no,
is a little.
but it's I think that goes to the characters themselves, right? Like they are in this world of magic, which is kind of set in a, I guess, medieval-ish time, albeit they use like current day slang. Like someone said not cool to a character, and I was like, I don't think they would have said that in this time period. But then again, I don't know what time period we're in, so who knows? Um,
Yeah,
but I appreciated that fact, like where it didn't center itself around being like this character's get there's a conflict and they need to grow and adapt. It's like, no, this character is already well established in this society. And now they have
yeah,
to basically challenge themselves to take on a very daunting task. But it's not like it doesn't require them to be better. It just requires them to, I guess, get outside of their comfort zone, which doesn't scream to me like, oh, you need to grow, right? Like, yes, they do,
yeah,
they improve, but it's not in the like a sense of how you would usually apply it to like main characters in the series.
yeah.
So I
They
appreciated
improve, but they're not like, "Oh, my whole
it's
being
not the
has changed."
crux. Yeah, it's not the crux of the entire series that they actually, better themselves, right?
Correct.
But like I was yeah, it didn't really
Every Friday, my butt was in the seat just to watch this show.
it didn't speak to
Every
me from the
Friday.
beginning. I ended up watching it, I think a week or 2 in just because I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna give it a shot. Let's try
I
it."
told you it was gonna be great.
Yeah, no, I know. I mean, I didn't say otherwise. It wasn't something that I was like, I think when we were doing the reviews, I was like, the concept again is another example of a synopsis just not doing it justice, right? It was just like this quiet witch has to take on a new challenge. What will happen? I'm like, ooh, they're a witch, but they're quiet. Wow. But then, yeah, it was once I started to
Yeah,
understand the world, the intricacies of the magic system. Again, more about the characters. Like it constantly impressed me, like through in and throughout. Like absolutely floored by this. This is honestly on my list for like if you want a fantasy series that's
Mhm.
not Frieren
That
because
isn't Frieren.
yeah, like that everyone's because everyone's just gonna shove down your throat Frieren. Like this would be my second pick. Like go watch The Secrets of the Silent Witch. Like
Secrets of the
it's
Silent Witch.
like
Yeah.
by and far the next best thing currently airing, right? If you want something that's finished, plenty of others, but like if you want a top tier on par, with Frieren in terms of just like delivery and everything in between, Secrets of the Silent Witch is well up
It's
there.
there.
Yeah.
It's there. Yeah. No, I agree. Like, again, I think my outside of my top 2, I think my top, like, 6 to 3, you could just put them anywhere in that
Oh,
list,
like I said,
in
I
my
said it from the
opinion.
beginning. My top 5, I could float any of them between all the different
Yeah,
rankings and give you a solid argument as to why they deserve that. I would have given
agreed.
Clevitus number 1 too. Absolutely. It's just it's going up against arguably 8 other series that are top tier quality, right?
Agreed.
So,
Which,
it's
speaking of top tier quality, you're number 1 because you haven't talked about it, Gachiakuta.
yes. Oh, am I
So,
supposed to talk about it now? So you get the last 2 to
yeah,
talk
because
about? Because you
no, I
ruined
only
my
have 1
top
left.
5?
I only have 1
Oh, that's
left.
right, because you gave Mud Dud a 2. You can still talk about it if you want, but
I already said what I had to say
s
during your segment too. I talked
that's
about it then, so
that's fair, that's fair. Yeah, no, Gachi Yakuta, I
it was the
there's
hype show coming into the season, and it kinda delivered.
it so I didn't think like, yes, it was super hyped. We went to 2 different conventions. Well, I had gone to 2 different conventions where Gachi Yakuta had a booth there, right? One that was
Crunchyroll had the booth for it.
right. Like,
Yeah.
one before the season started, one during the season airing, right? Like,
Mhm.
like, you couldn't get away with it, like, away from it. Um, and I went in like, okay, hearing a lot of buzz. It's gonna be another top tier shonen, probably. Let's see if it actually can hold true. And it does. It does on so many levels. But I think the reason why it's my number one for this season is I want to know more, period, about everything. Like, it's one of the few series, like, I'll give you examples. Secrets of the Silent Witch, right? I want to know more about how they're going to navigate this next, like, crucial part of the relationship that's established between characters, but also a conflict that supposedly is still happening, but it comes and goes, we'll say, throughout the
Right.
season. But I want to know more. My dress up darling, I actually want to know what's going to happen next in their, moving forward for their relationship, because clearly there's a break point. We thought we were going to hit it by the end of the season. We're not there. I want to know what that break point is, right? That's what I want to know. Covetous, I actually want to know how they're going to start navigating through this next arc that they establish at the final episode, because boy oh boy, this seems intriguing, very reminiscent of, like, I don't know, Mushoku Tensei season 2-ish, kind of. Like, this will be fun. Gachi Akata, though, I want to know more, period. I want to know more about this world. I want to know more about the sphere world. I want to know more about our characters. I want to know more about the power system. I want to know more about every single goddamn thing of this anime, because I didn't feel like I got enough in season 1. And season 1, hands down, had me enthralled every
Hook,
single
line, and
episode.
sinker from season 1.
Oh yeah. Like,
Episode 1 was incredible.
oh yeah.
I like, it set up a world, it set up your main character, it set up your main character's motivations,
And
and just fucking threw it all out the window except for the main character, and just like, "Go."
and the crazy part too is that every episode built upon some aspect of what we were talking about, right? Whether it was like they spent
Yeah.
a little bit more time on character development and backstory, they spent a little bit more time on the world, they spent a little bit more time on the power system, whatever the case is, there were episodes that progressed things along, but I still yearned for more. Like, I still am like chomping at the bit to know more about just everything that I've learned so far. Because that, you alluded to it earlier when you were talking about it. That final episode, first off, fuck you for putting me through that. But
Yeah,
holy
dude.
crap, that was gripping. Like
God.
the way it finished, because you perfectly set up the
I'm so
second
happy we get
season.
a core 2, by the way. I'm
Yeah.
so happy we get a
Yeah,
core 2
sorry, core
immediately.
2. Like, you get the immediate satisfaction, right? But I would have been it would have been aggravating if I had to wait for it. Just how it ended, like,
Yeah,
absolutely just white
jaw-dropping.
knuckled, gripping
Just
the side of my chair, like, you've got to be shitting me. Make me
yeah,
wait more.
this is a series that I'm just like, okay, like I'm going to read along with it to
Hmm.
season 2, and then I'm going to read past it. I'm going to read past what because like I need to know. This needs to be a weekly series for me,
Oh yeah,
and I have to know.
and
And so I'm so excited for that we're getting core 2 immediately. Um and that like I can just read it on K manga. Stupidly, I fucking hate that app because you got to use tickets and bullshit, but like
yeah,
at the same time, it's there. It's there legally. You can do it. It's just a bit of a headache. You get like 5 to 10 chapters a day. It's fine.
yeah. Patience is a
But
virtue too. But yeah, I mean,
it is.
it. I to put the big cherry on top too, and I know this is kind of it's in a humorous way, okay? For people that are gonna give me shit about it. It also helps that the author is just an alt baddie. She
I
is
knew you were gonna bring
she
this up.
is
As soon as you like to put a
fucking
cherry on top, I'm like, "Oh, you."
hardcore. I love it. Okay, and I'll be serious too. These type of series I think are built for women writing. I think the male characters are extremely well written compared to when like by male authors.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because there's
for like what I would classify as being like a shonen series, right? Like if we're talking like seinen, it gets a little bit muddier because those are like a lot darker, right? They're more
yeah.
mature themed. But in terms of like towards young boys or adult or teen boys, like female authors just do so much better. Like seriously, go look at a lot of the series that you probably
Full Metal
love.
Alchemist.
Yeah, there's a ton.
Was Soul Eater? Soul Eater a female
Uh
no, Fire Force and Soul Eater were not.
I don't yeah, no, those weren't.
I
There's
don't
a
think so.
there's a handful of like you'll be surprised. I always see videos and posts going through it. It's like you might be surprised that this series was written by a female author. And I'm like, there's a couple of them that you always know. Yeah, Full Metal Alchemist is always up there, but there's like oh god, why can't I think of one? There's like right on the tip of my tongue and I know it. Like I think Inuyasha is written by uh female author, I want to say.
Black Butler is oh, that's right. Fucking Die Dark is To Your
Yeah, yeah. Oh
Eternity,
god, Die
Banana
Dark.
Fish, Beastars, fucking Mushishi,
Mushishi, yeah.
Ranma, Blue Exorcist, fuck, I forgot that D Gray Man was a female as well. And yeah, and then Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah. Like there's a lot. I just in my mind I feel like the characters just are more thought through, you know?
They're a bit more down to earth in how they would act. Like, not to say that a guy can't write a guy character
No,
well,
no, no,
but
no,
they
no.
definitely do have some preconceptions of just being like
And no, and we're going to set the record straight here. There is no author that writes a better male character than
Tatsu
Araki. No.
Tatsuji
No,
Tatsuji
no, the guy that thinks that he can levitate? No. No. My boy, the JoJo's author, Araki. Araki Sensei.
Steel
Yeah. Don't
Ball!
say that. I'm so
Ball!
ready for that season. Um, but no, it's this series I think is going to lead the charge for a while when it comes to like our next wave of new age shonen, right? Because we're entering our last season of My Hero, so that's wrapping up. We've
Yep,
already wrapped up Attack on Titan. We're wrapped up
thank God.
basically with Demon Slayer until the next two movies come out, which
We got 4 years left.
but who cares? It's not like there's seasons coming out, right? But like
That's
that's
fair.
like we're getting into this new wave of shonen, and I think Gachi Akuta hands down at the top alongside like Don to Don. Trying to think of other ones. We watched so many. I'll take a look back and see what else was in the top of my list. But yeah, like I this is by and far my number one, I think.
Fair enough.
And again, I could have made an argument why it was my number five.
Yeah. No,
It was such a tight race with these top five for me.
and that's fair. I completely understand. Also, so that is your top list. I still got one to go. My number one. If you've watched our episode on one episode reviews, you know what's coming. It's the fragrant flower that blooms with dignity.
Yeah.
I to the point where episode like so the way it goes, I VPN'd into Japan, and it was all on Netflix. So, but
Cheater.
the caveat
Cheater.
there
My
is that
eyes.
if episode 9 was out, only episode 8 was up to episode 8 was subtitled. So episode 9 was not subtitled at the time. You would have to wait every Sunday for a new episode to come out, and then the new subtitles would come out for the previous week's episode. Yeah, I watched episode 12 and was like, I don't fucking care. I'm gonna watch episode 13 with no subtitles because I've read those specific chapters so like I shit you not, I've read those chapters like at least 5 times where I'm like, I know what they're saying. I don't need the subtitles. I know what's happening. I know what's going down. I know what they're saying to each other.
Mhm.
It's a nine. So I topped it out at a 9.5. I initially had it at a 10, giving it a
Wow.
9.5. Um, Only reason being is that, and I made a video about it for TikTok weeks ago. It's vanilla. It's very, 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 very good vanilla. I don't think that it deserves a top like a 10 out of 10 because looking at it very critically, not like it's not that nothing happens. There are things that the characters do that retroactively, now that I think about it, do bug me a little bit, but at the same time, it doesn't bug me enough to just be like, I hate this series. I don't like this series. I think that this series is absolutely insanely wonderful. Again, it's vanilla as can be, but it's great. I kind of equated it to being like a Toradora in the sense that it's a great series, it's a great entry point to romance, but it definitely does have, like, minor faults here and there, in my opinion. And I think that the animation for this was beautiful, I think the voice acting for this was, just wonderful. I am starting to watch the dub, and boy howdy, Karuko's voice actress is not good.
It's her first ever role. So give
So,
her
okay, let me put a little pause on that. When she's being formal, she's not very good, but when she's being informal, I think she does shine a lot more.
I
However,
cuz
like,
I'm
I'm still gonna watch all of the dub. I am, because I absolutely love this series. I to the point where as soon as, this season ended, I went on to K-Manga and I just read the rest, and I am caught up and I'm week to week now. And I'm so just I love this series, dude. It's so good. And I need season 2 now. Like, I knew everybody who has read, like, the first 4 or 5 volumes knew exactly where season 1's gonna end. It ended there, and you're like, "Fuck me running, I need season 2 immediately." And that's just it. I just need season 2 tomorrow. Really do, because this show is just a delight. It's wonderful.
so
What were you gonna say?
setting aside the fact that you cheated and it's
I
not
did not cheat.
fully out in English yet. Um the voice act cuz I've been watching it as it airs on Netflix. The voice acting aside, I I think it's great. I think it's wonderful so far. I really like the characters. To your point, it's very good vanilla. My biggest argument for that is I would rather have mediocre chocolate chip than really good vanilla. I'd rather have subpar moose tracks than vanilla, right? Like, I think, and maybe it's just because we're getting more and more variety in these series. Because a lot of the times I find myself when we're doing these reviews going, I love this concept because it's a twist on this, or I think it's a very good take on this particular theme, right? Like, perfect example is My Dress Up Darling. The reason why I really like it is because it highlights cosplaying. And I love cosplaying. My wife cosplays now. I will do really goofy cosplays from time to time too. I just love the community of cosplayers and like what the like different environments that we get to see at conventions of people showing off amazing cosplays, right? But oh, by the way, this isn't just your slice of life about cosplaying, it's a romance. And you're like, "Oh, wonderful. We get romance with it," right? The fragrant flower blooms with dignity, which is not an easy title to say. Uh
No, it's not. It's a tongue twister.
is just romance at its core. And there's nothing wrong with that by no
It's romance
means.
in just, like, growing as a person
Yeah,
and
and
growing
there's
with a person.
and there's nothing wrong with that. I would probably again, I haven't seen it all the way through. I have a handful of the volumes, so I could also read it too. I'll wait till it airs while my wife and I watch it. But like in my mind, I could see it being an 8, you know, 8.5. But it's nothing. I don't. It would have to be something jaw dropping, spectacular floors. Like I'd have to. You'd have to give me the best piece of vanilla to the point where the best scoop of vanilla ice cream to the point where like I feel like I just took ayahuasca and like went on a journey, like my third eye opened and I'm like talking to aliens on a different plane of existence, right? Like that's the only way you could convince me that something is that's quote very 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 good vanilla is worth more than an 8.5.
Yeah. No, and
You
that's
know,
fair. It's like, again, I'm not gonna argue and say that your opinion isn't valid. It is. Like, I totally can see that, like, people not vibing with this because of that reason. For me, I vibe with it. I love the fact I love a good character growth, and I think
yeah.
that this show introduces a lot of characters and introduces a fuck ton of character growth, and I absolutely love the way that they do it.
And yeah, again, totally nothing wrong with that, right? Toradora, Horimiya, like we have a lot of great romance, pure romance type series, right? The ones
Yep.
that I gravitate towards, and again, this is a personal thing. This is all subjective at this
Where
point,
they
but
have,
like,
like, a shtick or something.
yeah, like like Love Chunabuya and Other Delusions, right? It's a
Oh
romance,
god.
but I love that concept of just being stuck in that like edgy phase of existence and then
That
being
show
pulled
hurts
back
to watch.
into it. Love it. It's
It hurts to
so
watch.
incredible and it's still a romance, right? Like
Yeah.
those are ones where I'm like, yes, you kind of set yourself apart. You put your own stamp on what is, a very stereotypical type of genre in the romance category, romance school life category, right? And sure, you could absolutely deliver with just doing that. Plenty of series have, but I appreciate the ones that deviate and enter into their own iconic area, right? Your Mud Duds, your Chunabuyos, there's a handful of others. I mean, like even the ones that were attempted to it, like Bad Girl, right? It's like a weird girl love
Watery Coon's
harem.
butthole's about to
Yeah, watch
collapse.
Raccoon's butthole. There's plenty of them that fall flat on their face. Okay, it happens. I think I just appreciate that more than our standard, like the standard vanilla capped ones. But again, there's nothing wrong with it. As I said, I would give it so far an 8 out of 10, I imagine. And I still have yet to finish it. But it's
Fair
not
enough.
something that screams like top of the list. I'd recommend it, but I'd also say if you want something a little bit more of a niche area, here are these ones that I would actually recommend to you.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, I again, this is my number 1 show. I thoroughly enjoyed it. There were multiple episodes that just, like, had me just in tears because of just the way people grow and the way people see others grow along with them, and it's
No,
just it is very emotional and it is very good.
you want actual
Um,
tears? Go watch Takapi's Original Sin.
I one day maybe.
No,
But until that day, thank you all for joining us. We greatly appreciate you for joining us today. It's been a long episode, a very long episode. We apologize, but at the same time,
uh,
if you've made it this far,
next week's is gonna
what?
be even longer.
I hope not.
I
Next
hope
week we
not.
will be. I think we're doing what our episode 1 reviews for the summer season
Fall
or fall
season.
season.
Yep.
So if there's a little inside baseball as to what we'll be doing next week. So if you like this episode, come back next week for more reviews, but for the fall season. So until next time, everybody, Spark Triumph. We'll see you then.